Hello, it's Pigsy doing another video. Now this is going to be on the Planet X, Nibiru, and conspiracy stuff. I was round a client's place and we like to watch the Avengers, not the superhero ones, but the one with like John Steed, Tara King, Emma Peel in it, the old school ones. Anyway. Where are we? Anyway, so I was watching one, it was called WormDoom Limited. Okay, it's WormDoom Limited. The word doesn't sound right, doom. Now, if you play around with it, you'll get wood. So it's Wormwood Limited. And the story was about, they had this like wood weapon actually. It's like a fungus that destroyed wood in seconds. It seemed all very interesting. It just like wiped it out of existence in a flash of an eye. And it was sort of interesting because of the conspiracy stuff around wormwood. So was there something written about wormwood being there? The date of the release of this program, the names, and other clues potentially in there. So I might have to look digging around at the series and see if there's anything else on it. Just trying to think or remember. So they had these weapons that destroyed wood. They had stuff with a bell in it, and then they wanted to use like a fungus. So maybe there's something. But the other thing about comets and asteroids is there is rumours about bacteria and fungus, and even if there wasn't aliens out in space, potentially there's constantly alien DNA being dropped off of this planet, because anything that burns out in the atmosphere that's come from somewhere else, a broken other planet, is I don't know which way I'm going. Just thinking, which way do I want to go? The long way or the short way? Let's go the long way. Seems to be easy to get on this way anyway. So yeah, so there could be something more about it. Maybe wormwood, the actual name. Maybe potentially it will bring a plague. It could be the bringer of the zombie apocalypse. Who knows what it can affect? Because another planet, you know, like I say, the invaders to Earth, maybe not a being, it could be a plant or a fungus. It could be something that's evolved in a sort of different environment that's a lot more harsher. So it was kind of nice, like with the alien theme, but the only problem I didn't like about that is that basically they're genetically engineered. That's what it's kind of come across from a virus and so on. It'd be better off if they had found a creature in a remote environment and, you know, some sort of adaptogen type, you know, basically it binds with the DNA of other creatures, and so it's like symbiotic, and then would create a being from that egg, hatch a being, but then it'd be more mutagenic. There was always issues with Aliens, the film. I didn't like the way it went, to be honest. The beings were pretty awesome, but it needs to be a stable genetic being, not something that's constantly mutating and seems out of control. And maybe the different aliens that fight each other would be interesting. But even so, there's like the Black Ooze, there's ideas around what that meant, this idea of a bioweapons. It's all touching upon human themes of where they want to go. You know, if they're finding bacteria, it's a bit like they were doing an Arctic drilling. They were looking for ancient bacteria and viruses that killed off like mammoths and whatever they could find. And they're doing it as a part of research. This was biotech. I mean, it touches on other themes as well. Like I was watching, I can't even remember it now. Jesus Christ, it's so terrible when you've got thoughts of different programs and films and they go out your head for a second. Fortified, yeah, there's had weird virus they got from some type of parasitic Arctic. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. It doesn't exactly make any sense. Just bloody stop and twist in the road, and I've got a car at 30 miles an hour up my arse. I can't stop. It's like I can slam my brakes on, but it's not going to help him. So, yeah, chill out now. So it's just interesting. The themes there, the black ooze, the mutagens, something from the dinosaur age, alien, all sorts of stuff. It's all the same sort of theme, but for a different sort of hostile being. And like I say, it could be something completely different. And it may be why with the human race here, we're on our own. Influenza may be like the worst weapon in the universe. And we've adapted to cope with it, and actually it's our immunity that's being harvested. They're looking at animals' immunity to diseases, harvesting from the organs, because maybe the other, on a different planet, they're rupturing by, the influenza tears them apart. Or cowpox. Cowpox, there's a thing about smallpox and cowpox. So it'd be interesting what animals are being harvested. They might be being harvested for their immune system rather than anything else. It might be not going to get eaten. It's because it's the surgical thing where these animal mutilations take place. Any other information? Yes, the moon. The moon is the core of a planet that used to be a water world. And during some kind of collision it's had, that's that big slap, the dragon slap thing, it's got shape on it, the face of the moon, and some sort of impact crater from Earth. But it was buffered because there was a load of water on the planet. And so you had a kind of a massive hydro blast back, and it pushed it back out into space. And so there's shards of ice out in the asteroid belt, which would confer to that. The thing is, why is the cars... This is the thing, it's at night, there's no rush, people are going home, yet some of these cars want to try to overtake and do all sorts of crazy shit. Just chill out, chill the fuck out. Like a chap I went around a corner, I don't think he was indicating he was going to go to the side. He kept on indicating, no issue. But he dropped his indicator off. He pulls out in front of me, doesn't use the space to accelerate, and he just turns. I thought, what? Anyway, so a lot of the water's been dropped off this planet, and so the another issue is the gravitational force and frequency. It could be because the water is basically runs at the same frequency as the moon itself, and so its ripples are drawn back to its mother, basically. And so there may be pockets of water on the moon. It may be water in the moon. So what's inside the moon and who lives on the moon? There's a sort of a satellite now. So yeah, that's all interesting stuff. And possibly there was a release of different gases that were in there. It changed the balance of the air. Also brought different foreign agents and life forms to this planet. Like the octopus. The octopus isn't from around here. I mean, there's some things that are and some things that aren't. Earth had water, and there's some kind of inner oceans we got as well, deep below the mantle. And it's not the first collision the planet's had with things, with bodies, so yeah, it was a kind of... There's a hell of a situation that happened at one point in time. There's some odd anomalies that have turned up. So, wormwood, worth more research. What's out there? I come across something saying about stars, that light being blocked and disappearing. There's some other issues on the conspiracy front about weather control and wanting to deal with climate change rather than plant more trees. They want to create some artificial things that absorb carbon out of the air. Basically filters of some kind, so they're going to need to be run on electricity or supported by something. And then there's the idea of having little mirrors in space, so it blocks out planets and UFOs and all sorts of other stuff going on, and some other ideas. They probably want to stick us in a big dome or something, stick something out in space. Deflectors, sun deflectors. So it's like a blooming parasail out there that opens up and lines up with the sun. So it's difficult, but yeah, the reality is that a lot of it's to do with changes in the sun. They know it, and the change of the frequencies of this planet. At best, you might as well just start planting new plants that can thrive in this country, that can feed the current life forms here. They will adapt and see where it goes, really. And it's the same for here. Plants here, make sure they're in places like Siberia and areas of Russia. See, Russia, what's heating up? Russia's in a kind of Goldilocks zone. So I think if the temperature changes radically, it's going to be a place that's still going to be rich in resources, and it's going to have the moderate temperature. While other places here, we're going to find it more difficult because we just got a concrete jungle and minimal amounts of trees. We need to increase the tree population and other sorts of eco stuff, even if it's growing things on your sort of windowsill, or if you've got a roof garden, if you've got a flat roof, just put some pots out there and things. They will help clear up the air. They help clear pollution. It's the answer. The answer is that possibly the surface world, we should have either build a megatopia type ginormous building, so almost like, in essence in scale with what the ants have got, or the termite hives, but we need a giant building that we can live inside and things like that, and then possibly digging underground, building kind of a labyrinth of tunnels and living under there, living quarters underground, and then expanding on the surface part of the world for different life forms, different trees and plants, and just letting animals get out there and do their thing, all that sort of stuff. Anyways, just pick a sign off and speak to you soon.